10 years before Abraham Lincoln's presidency, he was campaigning across rural Illinois, promising its residents that he was the man for the job to represent bringing them out of their circumstances. Fast forward, he gets elected, and 3 years later, he finds himself in his third straight recession for the state. And the campaign that he promised involved bringing transportation and connecting these little rural hubs to city centers, and doing that through canal systems and railroads and roads and things like that. Well, during that third recession in a row, these projects got canceled midway built. And so the state found itself in crippling debt. The state credit found itself in like basically worthless value. And so it had no credibility to other states to be able to take on more projects. Because the projects were canceled mid build, it plummeted the value of land that his constituents already lived on. So not only did the poor people, not get better, but they got worse. And because of the land plummet, it created a domino effect where local businesses and banks started going under, and that led to people going homeless by the thousands. And so not only did he not grow the state, not only did he not bring people into the state and projects, but he multiplied the suffering of the people he represented. And he entered in this deep, deep depression during this time while he was still in legislature. And his best friend moved away. He broke it off with Mary Todd Lincoln, his engagement, and he just stayed in bed for days at a time, not sleeping or eating. And eventually the doctor came, and he at the time, I guess he medically declared him crazy or whatever the term was at that point. And he was just babbling to himself and for days on end until he could barely talk above a whisper. Well, his best friend ended up coming back once he heard about this, and he was by Abe Lincoln's side. And the friend says that the moment that Abe Lincoln finally realized nobody's going to realize Abe Lincoln lived based off of what he's done, it set him, it scared him. It set him straight. And he had nothing to build off of because on his personal life, at Abe Lincoln's personal life, he was completely broke as a rural country lawyer as well. But he gave all his time dedicating to politics that he neglected his personal practice. So he had no money. And so with no money, with an awful ruined reputation, the only thing that he could build off of was his word. And so he said, if there's one thing I can do, it's to make my word worth something again. So he went back to Mary Todd Lincoln, and even though they had a terrible marriage, he said, I gave you my word, I'm going to follow through with this. And then that's how he slowly built it up. And then as a lawyer, as a professional lawyer, he got into another practice, and he slowly built his way up. And all of it came from the basis of he found a way to keep his word no matter what. And eventually, 10 years later, he became Honest Abe. So all that being said, no matter what circumstances you're in, there's some things that can be taken away from you circumstantially, but what you can always do is try to keep your word.